yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me get this light closer so my chin doesn't appear to disappear. No stigmata at the top of this hour, baby. Sorry, not this week. I'm bad to be back. Yeah, my voice is thrashed. I'm fucking beat to shit. And I know it's 2 days late, too many dollars short, but I had to have my say. Like SSD says, the youth will have their say. This is round number 329. The show is Knuckle Up. I'm your host, Eugene S. the peripatetic Eugene S. Robinson. And I have to say the plane just landed, and I am indeed back in black. I gotta keep it under 30 seconds so you don't sue me. There you go. Enough for the music. So I am back. I just got 16 hours off of a fucking plane. The last show was in a place called Trieste on the Adriatic coast. 5 hours to the airport afterward, trying to stay awake so my bags weren't stolen by thieves. And on the plane, can't sleep because I know it's only me keeping the terrorists from taking the plane down, you know. So I'm and then layover in New York, another city of thieves, and then back on another plane back to San Francisco, get a cab to the house. And I told Kid Nate I wouldn't do the show, but it's not so much that I lie. I just say stuff that isn't true because, of course, even though I got a cold and my voice is thrashed out, I'm on European time. So I feel fine right now. I feel great, even though there's no way I'm getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning after I played shows until 3 o'clock. But I'm back. So here we go. This is round number 329. Like I said, Knuckle Up. I'm your host, Eugene S. Robinson. S stands for Sicily. How about that? Siciliano. And Kid Nate I had a couple of aborted attempts at doing the show. I think he may try to edit those in at the end. The connection from Venice was fucking sucky. It was raining super hard. I don't know if there's anything to do with it, but it was really terrible. And the Kid Nate goes, well, that's fine. No, I can't do that. I can't hoist that load of crap. More importantly, it was going to fail to deliver the points that I wanted to deliver, which was an unremitting Jeremiad. Look it up. It's a good SAT word. But I was, and of course, more stuff has happened in the interim. First of all, I need to say right at the top, any bad news that you hear about John Jones, you can healthily come back to Knuckle Up and say here, and tell people I told you so. My spies in New Mexico for months have been saying John Jones, bullshit. Not that John Jones himself is bullshit, but the pictures of him lifting weights, the community outreach with the kids, all that stuff, that the man has in essence not changed. We like to think that change is in our, we change when it's in our best interest. A change. You know what? It's like that cartoon with Porky Pig and the wolf, and the wolf is laying around all summer and laughing at Porky Pig. What are you breaking your neck for, Porky? You gotta be kidding me. Relax. And then winter hits, boom, like in cartoon time. Winter's like that. And then the fucking wolf goes to his cupboard, and there's nothing in the cupboard. And he goes, I'm going to starve. He goes out, tries to hunt. The ground is permafrosted. And finally, he shows up at Porky's door starving. Porky says, hey, no, I worked all summer. You laughed at me. Fuck you. Well, he doesn't really say fuck you. And so the wolf goes out and tries it again. And then finally, the wolf almost dies. And Porky looks outside, has sympathy for him, drags him back inside. And then the wolf, after he's fed all winter, he gives his impassioned speech about how he's learned from his mistakes. And thanks God that he's been given a chance to do it again. And in cartoon time again, The weather changes. Boom, it's summer again. And now Wolf is back out on the porch playing his guitar, singing, working can wait. This is paradise. This is you could just call that the John Jones story, you know? I mean, first of all, it's only, the weight's all on him. The weight is all on him. However, this is not exculpatory, it's explanatory. But if you, is age an excuse at this point? Guys got a family, get brothers who to share. I mean, there's no excuse at this point, except for the fact that wolves will be on porches playing their guitar as soon as the weather is warm. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, you would think for the rest of us who realize how infrequently brass rings come across, you understand, for us, this is why guys get so upset when they think about their women as prostitutes, because they project and they go, oh my God, I could never go out with a woman who's a prostitute. Now, I'm not talking about a woman who's a prostitute when you're going out with her. I'm talking about a woman who was a prostitute before she met you. You would have, if you're a man, if you're a woman, you would have a hard time taking this person seriously. Why? Why? Because you project. My God, she's had sex with 1,000 men. It was so demeaning. Now, if she's a heterosexual, this is par for the course, except for maybe she's getting paid for it and maybe not this high volume. You got to understand, our perception of the brass ring is very different from Johnny Boney Joni's perception of the brass ring. I mean, for us, it's like, oh my God, it's part of our rock and roll MMA fantasy that we would get to be the youngest, the light heavyweight champion. You're driving the rolls, you're celebrities, you have talk shows. But you got to understand, in the Johnny Boney Joni household, this is a day in the life, you know. And if you look at the universe of people that he's holding truck with, very possibly other professional sports athletes, his brothers in football, it's like, hey, shit, I didn't stab anybody. I didn't put a contract out on anybody. I didn't shoot anybody. I didn't murder my chauffeur while brandishing a shotgun. These are things I did not do. A few fender benders, don't you? You know, and largely, I hate to fucking say it, but the adjustments that were made in Johnny Boney Joni's case are long-standing. The sponsors that fled are not going to return, so it's not like he can lose anything else. The new Reebok thing makes that sort of a difficult catch anyway. So he's not in as many TV commercials. He's still commanding top dollar for his fights, you know. And what the UFC is absolutely not going to do is get rid of him for a fucking couple of traffic accidents. The fact that he's still hanging with the same knuckleheads, the fact that he's not doing exactly the same stuff. My spies from New Mexico tell me not exactly the same stuff, but he's still hanging with the same people. If you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room. John Jones could be Johnny Boney Joni could be in the wrong room. I don't know. But this news about the traffic, don't, you know, this fight, Jones Cormier 2 coming up, maybe, I don't know. I mean, we're not talking Darryl Strawberry, but I don't know. I'll believe it when Joe Rogan is interviewing the winner. That's when I'll believe it. Until then, I mean, this is part of MMA becoming a sport like other sports, right? I mean, you know, Johnny Manziel shows up and slaps around his girlfriend. You know, I mean, what makes a Baldwin shy about creating all these stars is that this other sport shit happens to MMA. You put all this time and effort to America's darling, Honda Housey, and then she ends up running off with a married guy who beats his wife. What can you do? What can you do? You know, I guess he figures he's got a better chance if it's an All-American type. But Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is a pretty All-American type, but he's not being positioned as an All-American type. What's wrong? He's a Cinderella victory, come from behind. Well, it wasn't even a come from behind, but eight from a eight number rank. Man, this guy was Phantom Toll Booth all the way. Oh, the phone? That was Joe Silva. I guess not. Who's on the phone? Oh, it's Joe. Oh no, I guess he wasn't Joe. So, okay, so he is fucking Phantom Tollbooth all the way. Now he's number 8. Knocks out the number 2 guy. He got the looks. He's got the chatter. But when was the last time? Nah, that's not really pretty accurate either. Because Sage Northbrook, he's also from the South. I was going to say, they don't really try to make Southern guys all-American. When somebody's all-American, when they're talking about the look, a defining look or nature of a look, they're not typically talking about a Southern guy. But Sage Northbrook is a Southerner. So what can I think? I don't know. Anyway, this fight, this past fucking weekend, I'm just going to have to start out with saying it was a big steaming pile of shit. Shit. Look, I'm not looking for MMA to become baseball, by which I mean the only people who watch baseball, and I know there are baseball fans out there. I used to be one. I have friends who are baseball fans, but realistically speaking, the only person glued to the TV for 2.5 hours of a game are gambling degenerates and former players. You only have that type of dedication if you used to play the game or if you bet the rent money on the game, right? So and even those guys, when you see them at the sports book in Vegas, even those guys are not watching the game. They're reading the paper. They're getting drinks, they're grab-assing with the waitress, they're smoking, they're taking a lick, because all they care about is the spread, right? So it's a casual viewing, Everybody's passionate about the outcome. It's okay. Super Bowl amateur night. This is casual viewing, casual. So when the fight fell apart, I know it was a good save. I know it was an attempted save, from Fight Pass to Fox Sports, and Fox Sports bouncing me around like a fucking ping pong ball. It's all right, but I don't want to see fights that I could see any day where I'm training. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see it. If I could, and I'm not saying the guys I train with suck. That's not what I'm saying. Guys I train with are good. But that's not why I'm putting my ass in front of the TV for 3 hours, where I should be sleeping in Italy. So Alex, and I'm not even gonna, because it's such old news. Typically, I'd start at the top. I'm not going to start at the top. I'm going to start at the bottom. And there were a lot of don't cares in the card, so none of this should be a surprise. Alex White and Artem Lobov. Yeah, okay. This is the kind of fight. Man, so what? So what? My old bass player used to say, why does our roadie drive me? Anything she says, it's like, so what? Who cares? Why are you telling me? The big three. I don't have any answers to these questions. She's talking to me about shit I don't like. And the most appalling thing was this Mickey Gall versus Mike Jackson. I haven't seen anything this bad since Art Jimerson fought fucking Hoist in one of the first UFCs. This was fucking tragically bad. Tragically beyond. This was tragic, not even tragic comedy. This idea that they're gonna, how delicate. It's like that kids game operation. Did you have to find somebody who seems legitimate to fight CM? You didn't have to go through this kind of gerrymandering with a Brock Lesnar. That you did not have, or Bobby Lashley, or any of these other guys who've come over from WWE or pro wrestling or whatever the hell it's called. You didn't have to do it. You didn't have to do it, but you had to do it with CM Punk. You have to cherry pick this guy. You build him up. You give him against a novice fucking Golden Gloves boxer whose MMA record. It doesn't even have to be a UFC record. It could be the guy's UFC debut. His MMA record is 0-0, and then 7-time winner of the MMA Journalist of the Year award, Ariel Helwani, spends all his time talking to the guy building him up. Mickey Gall, you have now become a hated man. And there's not a damn thing you could have done about it. It's like, you know, you got your Rocky phone call. Fuck, you know, part of the TV show, it drops down to your town. Who was that guy? Randy Brown or whatever his name was. He was another, so you're looking for a fight, kind of contestant number one. And this guy was another one of those guys, man. This is his Rocky moment. We got a call. Yeah, buddy. Who are you fighting? Some guy, so they're giving me a tune-up fight, you know, just so I can show my stuff. Show your stuff. Show your stuff. Come on. I mean, this is, I mean, why don't you just put, you know, you see those old Vietnamese ladies with the plastic bags full of vegetables. Why don't you just get one of those chicks and put them in the cage? And he, surprisingly, it's the struggle to get I mean, he gets it in 45 seconds of round one, but it was sort of a struggle, rear naked on Mike Jackson, who the only thing missing was his one boxing glove. So already I'm sitting there like this. Like, you know, I got enough shit in my life that makes me question why I'm doing it, you know. I don't need this. I don't need it. I don't need it. And okay, Nohad Lahat, who was my pick against Diego Rivas. He was my pick. You know, I'm big on Israeli fighters. Spent some time hanging out with Israeli fighters in Tel Aviv, you know. But he got dispatched, Jack. Now this was good enough to suddenly care about. Well, I cared about it going in and picked Lahat, who was kicking ass before the flying knee. But the total outcome of the fight doesn't make me care about either Lahat or Rivas even more. I mean, but the Chilean fighter Rivas, that was pretty nice, but he was getting schooled on the ground. Anybody fighting Rivas in the future would do well to school him on the ground, unless dude's gonna say, shit, I got schooled on the ground and I gotta put in time. I said I cared about Ray Borg and Justin Scoggins because of the grappling aspect. But this was just a fight, man. It was just a fight. Come on. Oh, come on. Scoggins is like, I'm back, buddy. I'm back. You're back where? You know? This is like some guy at the butcher. I got number 89. I got number 89. What the fuck does that mean? Doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. You're back. Sorry. And I was in a good mood, you know. I mean, when you're on tour, you know, things tend to be kind of discombobulated. You don't know where you are from city to city. The alarm rings, you run into the wall because the door is not where you expect it to be. You know, you piss in the garbage can. These things happen. So you look for islands, oases of normalcy, of which the fights were won. But I'm just sitting there. And Derek Lewis against Damian Grabowski. W's are like V's, like in German. Grabowski. I on the Care Don't Care preview, I said I cared because of the whole Polish connection. Sorry. Okay, the whole Polish connection. But Kid Nate and I both agreed Derek Lewis was a beast, and he was beastly, you know. Punched the fuck out of Grabowski, didn't have a chance. But again, they call him the Polish pit bull. This is going the guitar player. This guy, Jabi. Yeah, he's got this like old style kind of like, you know, Sicilian guy. Oh, mustache, Pete mustache, you know, from early days of the mafia. He's you know. And Joshua Berkman and KJ Noons. Yeah, okay, I picked KJ Noons because of my old Strike Force connection, you know, but it was a snooze fest against him. Yeah, I'm glad Berkman's back. That's great. Unanimous decision. I don't think so, but I got you. Mike Pyle and Sean Spencer. That fight had some juice. What the fuck was Yves Levine? Yeah, you realize, like, you know, and when a Chad Mendez is fighting a Conor McG, you realize why you've missed guys like Mazzagatti and Yves Levine who just let you get beat to death in there. Yeah, and you know you're in trouble when the fighter, in this instance, Mike Pyle, is looking at you like, what? You want me to keep beating this guy to death? Is that, come on. So that fight had a little bit of juice, but it's suddenly shocking for me to hear somebody like a Mike Pyle say, "I'm back, baby." Ooh, oh, I see you look down at the piece of paper in your hand and discover it didn't say 89, but it said 54. Well, good for you, buddy. We'll see you again next year. You're back. Back, man. You're on a wooden bench waiting for that fucking phone to ring. Is that me? Silver? Oh, okay. Are you finished with that paper? Come on. Misha Kirkinoff and Alex Nicholson. Come on. God damn. I mean, this is when I knew. Is it me? The whole time I'm sitting there. Is it me or is it them? Is it me? Is it them? Is it me? Them, me? No. Misha Kirkinoff looks good. But this guy, I mean, I don't know if I could take him. And I'm 53. It shouldn't be when my dude met Jake LaMotta. He said, "Hey man, Jake is like 82 now. You think you could take him?" He was like, "Fucking no way, no question." My friend, he was 40 when we had this discussion. Jake LaMotta was like 80. I'm 53. I shouldn't be saying about a guy who's fighting the UFC. Maybe I could take him. Or you can say, "Oh, Eugene, this has more to do with your lunacy than whatever." I don't care what it has to do with. That was a terrible fight. Alex Nicholson with the running away. You're going to get cut, and you should. And of course, Misha, with all these muscle guys, the same thing. He's trying to feed the muscle. It doesn't have it. It's like, He did remind me of that guy who, when I was doing color commentating for an event in St. Petersburg, interviewing this guy who's got a swastika on his chest the size of his chest. It was great interviewing that guy post-fight. It's like, man, you have absolutely zero chance of making it stateside with this whole thing there. But rock on, brother. A Russian guy with a swastika tattoo on his chest the size of his chest. I mean, what would Uncle Joe think of that? Nazi freaking collaborator. Anyway, and so then we go on to Joseph Benavidez with Zach Makovsky, and I don't even remember how I picked on this one. I did care about it, but this was another fight. And Benavidez said so. People were booing him, and he says afterwards, he goes, I didn't really open up. I wish I could have had more time to open it up. And have a seat. Have a seat. Yeah, we'll let you know when the phone is for you. How could that be? He's talking about, "Oh, God, I'm ready to chat." No, you're not. No, you're not. In actual fact, you're not. You're not. You are not. That's the fact, Jack. You're not. So, there you go. I mean, again, now I'm sitting there, I'm actually sad and bemoaning. And I know over in St. Preux and Rafael Cavalcante is not going to make me feel any better. I don't care what the highlight reel says. And it's something about, Steve Jobs used to have this thing called the reality distortion effect that he used to employ, which was this idea that, when Steve is talking, that he just makes you believe shit that you didn't believe before, And something about the Joe Rogan, Mike Goldberg. The Joe Rogan, see, that was my creepy Goldberg smile. He's doing it less. I'm sad to say. He's doing it less. And I know we are the reason why. Fuck. It's not a drinking game if you take one drink. You're just a guy who had a drink. It's only a drinking game if it's a number of drinks. Why has Goldberg stopped smiling? This is an issue. So anyway, Ovid St. Preux comes out and he kicks Fejao on Fejao's left thigh somehow, maybe high up. It comes down, clearly tweaked it. I mean, it wasn't even, anybody in this corner should have been able to see it. Cavalcante should have poured it on, but he didn't. He was fighting like a guy who was like thinking, like doing some complicated math calculations in his head. Like, okay, I take the money for this, and I can pay the cable, and then I said, you think it looks good enough to be fighting tonight? I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking about. It's hard to say. You know, Ovid St. Preux is a big guy, man. That could put the zap on your mind. But in any case, it doesn't change the fact that, you know, we watch MMA for those major watch moments, those I told you so moments when you're talking up the sport to friends who are lukewarm or still boxing fans, you know, you're trying to get your money, trying to explain to your mom what you know, all this shit that you're spending all this time and focus on, this MMA thing, and you're looking for that definitive fight, the fight that says, that's why. And that wasn't Ovid St. Preux. Yeah, he hammer-fisted him, and so what? It was, I mean, now I'm bemoaning. Not really, now I'm bemoaning. Unanimous decision. Ovid St. Preux once again proves that he is going nowhere fast. I mean, I like this. You know, I like this guy. He is in the toll booth, but when he looks down at his number, he's got a decent number, like 9. Hey, I don't know what his number is, but it's pretty good. But nobody in their right mind sees this guy getting too far. I mean, do you honestly, when you look into your heart, do you see OSP doing anything in this sport? Based on what you've seen, his grappling hasn't improved. I mean, he's a big guy who's pretty athletic. You don't see people lining up to see Matt Mitrione either. And Matt Mitrione has got the gift of gab. That's why you pay attention anyway. He's got the whole NFL thing, so you pay attention. OSP, yeah, buddy, I got an Omega Psi Phi. It's okay. My roommate for a whole bunch of years was Omega Psi Phi. I got it. Doesn't mean you change the game. All you bums. And that's what Connor McG called you. You know, and it's one of those things. At one point, there used to be this heavy, like, you know, they had the hip hop war of, you know, that got Tupac and B.I.G. killed. Well, there had been sort of a punk rock war during the old days. And I'm not going to go down punk rock history, hardcore history. There had been. And it started early with New York because New York was on the last fumes of punk rock. You know, Sid Vicious had died. Nancy Spungen had been killed. People were like, New Wave was making money. Blondie was in the ascendancy. Talking Heads, people were paying attention to other stuff. They were getting older. And hardcore was just starting. And the old punks were like, what the fuck, these fucking kids from Long Island or Jersey or from Brooklyn. God forbid you'd be from Brooklyn back in those days. And then a band like Black Flag comes in, these crazy fucking beach punks. They laugh. These cats, these young skateboard cats from Ohio came out. And they would just tear up the New York floors, you know. Everybody in New York older, and I said older, 26, 27, would be nicely pogoing. And these guys would come out and do the Huntington Beach strut and just lay waste to the dance floor. And at one point I'm there, I'm like, I hate bullies. I'm watching these old art students getting shoved off the dance floor. Like, fuck, motherfucker. And one guy from Ohio screams, New York sucks. And I was like, fuck you. And he looks at me. His name is Barry Hensler from the Necros. Used to be the Necros. And he looks at me, he goes, show me any better. And I have to agree. He's right. And I look around, and what are you going to say? Time I almost get into a fist fight with a guy in traffic, and I said, you're lucky, you know, I've got these kids in the car seats in the car, and the guy goes, It's precisely because you have kids in a car seat in the car that this conversation shouldn't be happening. In fact, you should be driving under the speed limit. And I kind of go, it's right. When you're right, you're right. Like that guy who told me, Eugene, you should have never tried to have sex with my mother in the first place. I told you she was bipolar. When you're right, you're right. Connor McG is right. Yeah, thank you and thank me. Because I could go in and change the face of MMA in 2016 with a couple of well-placed benchings. I take out Connor McG, have him come over to the house and hang out for a bit. I take out Johnny Boney Joni, guy top of the hour, man of the hour. I take out Honda Holly. Do I have to go even to 5? Who else do I take out? We're almost to the list of people who I take out, and if that hasn't dampened your enthusiasm for anything fistic, fight like in 2016, I don't know what does or what will. That's not a deep talent pool. And when Connor McG subs, I'm feeding all you bums. He's not saying go to the gym and train harder, even though that might be what he's talking about. He's talking about carrying the game. He's talking about routine appearances on Jimmy Fallon. Who's the other Jimmy? God, I can't remember anything now. There's the 2 Jimmys, right? There's the one who sucks and then the one who's good. Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon is just soft. It's like cute. It's like, yeah, I laugh at cat videos, but I don't like laughing at cat videos, It's like Jimmy Kimmel. I might laugh, his breakdance, his hip-hop conversation with Brad Pitt. That was kind of cute. But I don't like that kind of cute. Kimmel, I like. The way he got after Leno, I like. Anyway, he says, I'm feeding you bums. I'm tired of feeding you. He didn't say I'm tired of feeding you bums. I'm feeding you, but he's like, you may not like him. And I like Verdum. He even challenged Verdum. Verdum hurt his toe. He can't fight. I mean, what he's saying in a very clever way is, again, appreciate this brass ring. At the point where you have the stage, he's saying to Verdum, and Kane says, it could be a strategy on Kane's part. You got to double down on it. You got to double down hard. You call Kane a scared coward. You attack Kane's work ethic. You attack his team. You assault the very fibers of the man's being so that you get the best Kane possible and you use that stage as a way to drum up interest in the fight. Same time you talk down, as you talking down Kane, you talk up Stipe. On the outside chance that Stipe beats you because you haven't prepared for him. And then you got yourself the series. Stipe beats you. Stipe then has to fight Kane. Then you fight Kane again, and around she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows, but everybody is rich. He's not talking about time in the gym. He's talking about what is it, the old expression? When a business deal goes sour, Gentiles go fuck it. When a business deal goes sour, Jews go fuck it. Let's make this work. Fuck it, let's make it work. We're canceling fucking fights. Yeah, but I'm nowhere if I lose a fight. Well, you can win through losing. We'll see. The blueprint's being printed right now. He loses against RDA. You think McG's going to come out of it more poor, more depleted? He's going to double down. And he's got RDA. RDA fired back. It took him 2 weeks finally, but he fired back with what? Irish people are ashamed of this guy. With his fire-breathing Lamborghini. This guy's got no class. They are ashamed of him. I know an Irish guy ashamed of. Well, they're not really, but it was a good blast, and he should have done that kind of stuff. He goes, his people, you know, it would have seemed, you know, it seems like a little bit of a Me Too-ism. Oh, your people are, oh, well, your people, well, your people, well, your people, your people, your people. Okay. But in any case, you know, that is why Conor McG is rich, and that's why he deserves to be rich. You know, I tell you, you know, you get your spot, very few opportunities. At one point, I was working at a men's fashion magazine in LA. The woman comes in, and her mother was famous. Estelle Parsons was her mother from Bonnie and Clyde, if you ever saw that movie. She walks in, she goes, I need you, as my editor-in-chief, I need you to find me a writer for the Samuel Jackson cover story. I was like, okay. I'm like, shit, I know it's some kind of test. I can't figure out what the test is. And so I'm going, is it a test to see how well connected I am? What kind of quality writer I can get to do this? And I said, well, shit, I feel like Dick Cheney right about now because the best person I could think of to do this piece is me. So I get up 5 minutes later, walk into her office. I go, yeah, I got somebody, me. And she goes, I wonder what took you so long. I said, well, I knew it was some kind of test. I didn't know what. You got to grab that fucking ring every time. Got a big fight. Kane, what is it my great-grandmother used to say? One monkey don't stop no show. Should have taken that fight. Conor McG is right. He hasn't said anything yet that he hasn't been right about. Roy Nelson and Rochelle. Yeah, I picked Nelson to win, and he won. What did he win? I don't know. What was that slapping duck fest? Co-main event, my ass. You know, he's a known knuckle up associate through his connection to Mike Kogan, but boy, man, come on, man. Dude's 39. Maybe it's time. Look. America turns its lonely eyes to a 39-year-old fucking Roy Nelson in the heavyweights. Come on, man. What are we talking about? I like the show. Well, I haven't watched it. I like the idea. I've said it for a long time. Fighter development. You're going to have somebody who's pulling these arrows out of a quiver. Ultimate Fighter show is not going to last forever. You got to have a farm team happening because the talent is. I'm hoping that there's some guy out there who goes, I got the gift of gab. I wonder if I can learn to fight well enough to make this transition. And Johnny Hendricks against Stephen Thompson. You know what? I lost to a guy in competition. The same competition I'm about to do coming up in March. And the guy was going crazy. It's like an animal. I've told the story before. I could smell the steroids on him. At this point now, I've been researching steroids since 1987. I got my folder over here. I always tell people. Of course, the folder now is probably about 20 years old to the information. But this is good. You got to know where you've been to know where you are. You can smell it coming from his pores. He and his whole fucking team, his coach, everything. They were like animals. And then there was that inevitable mood swing where you see him on the like, yeah, I took second place, he took first place. There's another guy in third, and me and the guy in third. You know, we're just kind of standing there, like, yeah, you got to do trophy things, and he's like. The mood swings that go along with it, the ups and the downs and the ups and the, I mean, do you ever, and at the end of it, Johnny Hendricks is talking about, yeah, I'll be back when that was solid A1 fucking Lost Battalion where John Anik is standing there like, what did he just say? Hold on, the truck's talking to me. The truck says, ah ha ha, ha ha, ha ha. I guess you forgot where you are. You're the same place your fucking restaurant is, man. Just because you were number 2, you were done. If GSP comes out of the woodwork, you were done. It's not in his eyes anymore, man. It's not. I know guys who call me on fucking Friday night crying to buy steroids from me because they had a hot date that night. This is before Viagra. Let me tell you, no steroid you take is going to put lead in the pencil Friday night if I sell it to you on Friday afternoon. Except for the possible exception of HCG, which, you know, is made from the urine of pregnant women. I'm not lying. Your body registers it suddenly as you've got a uptick in female sex hormones and starts producing testosterone. That can happen as fast as 2.5 hours, reportedly. Small testosterone uptick, but that's not what these guys were asking for. They were asking for pills. They were asking for injectables. You know, it was a crutch to end all crutches. Grown men crying because they had dates Friday night and they were concerned about erectile problems, and a shot of steroids wasn't gonna help. And you could see it. You could vibe. And Hendricks is vibing steroids to you. I mean, it's. You look at him. You look at Ellenberger. Allegedly, look, it's so noticeable. It's so noticeable that it lends a certain credence to GSP going the way that GSP went. GSP, not OSP. Of course, I had my suspicions about GSP based on nipple puffiness over the years. That be it as it may. So this was a night, you know, I should have backed off. I should have the first 2 attempts, and I'm hoping that KNUCKLE edits in so you could just see them. I was hoping to feel better. I was hoping to be able to make you feel better about it, but it's impossible. Impossible. So now I got to go to sleep and get up in 5 hours because I'm going to train tomorrow morning at 6:30 because I'm a fucking lunatic. And then I'm back after I train. I'm going to do If I Did It, and then I rush to work because nobody in the business does it better. That's what I'm saying. 7 times in a row. You know what? I'm not going to be the Susan Lucci of MMA. You keep electing Ariel Helwani MMA Journalist of the Year. I mean, look, if Mickey Gall beat a legitimate fighter in Mike Jackson, it's possible. Look at it. Isn't that nice? Look at that wall. Look at that wall. You know who did that to the wall? That fucking rocking chair I have. It ruined the fucking wall. I'm not sitting in it now. I got to paint the wall. Anyway, that's the show. I got to get some sleep. Thanks for putting up with the stalls and the stops. This is Knuckle Up number 329. It's late, but it always used to be late anyway. It wasn't until we got this face punching Monday thing that it's always been Monday. But I'm gonna have a hard time screaming, but to close it. But thanks for putting up with it, all you 26 viewers, and we'll see you tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's already today because it's so late. We'll see you in a few hours with If I Did It. Anyway, look what you made me do!